Yo, what's going on YouTube? GZTV back with another one. Last video of the night. And then I'm probably gonna just kind of chill out in the room for a little bit, go to bed here after a while. I'm fucking hot as shit. Kind of want to go turn the fan on, but I know it's gonna translate to the mic. I was just raging my ass up on 2K, so there was that too. If you saw the stream, you know, but pretty successful stream. That was a pretty good stream. We played 2K for like 2.5 hours. I might play some tomorrow. I kind of want to go for the Paul Pierce and get Kevin Durant, and I've been playing a lot of clutch time online, which is way more fun than I ever expected it to be. But we had a pretty big slate of games. We had 11 games today, so without the NFL being on Saturday for the first time since the playoffs started, and the NBA took the full opportunity. You know, they ran games from 2 to 11:30, so NBA fans were fed very well today. We got to start by talking about the Celtics-Lakers game. It's an official rivals game. Did the Celtics deserve to win that game? I mean, yeah, you can say there's a no call, and yeah, it was very pivotal, and it happened at the wrong time at the end of the game, but there were definitely some interesting reffing situations in that game. And then in overtime, they called a flagrant on Malcolm Brogdon for going for the ball. And obviously LeBron got a bunch of soft-ass calls for him where people weren't even fucking touching him. So that makes up. I mean, obviously the Celtics got a lot more fouls than the Lakers. But I don't know. Jaylen Brown forces overtime. The Celtics snap a skid by beating LA by 4. And obviously that no call. Tatum did slap him on the hand or on the forearm, but refs weren't able to see it. So the refs didn't see that. I like the Pat Bev with the photo proof from the camera. He got a tech. I think it was worth it. I think that was funny. But let's look at the box score. I'm not going to talk about the highlights to any of the games today all that much. We're just going to be talking about performances, who could do better, you know, that sort of thing. But looking at the Lakers, LeBron James has been putting on a clinic all year. LeBron James, he's easily a top 10 player in the NBA, borderline top 5 at this point. He hasn't played every game this year, which is the only thing slowing him down from being an MVP candidate, but the man put up 41 points and shot 50% overall. He played fantastic. Anthony Davis, obviously still kind of recovering from his injury, still getting back to 100%. He came off the bench, put up 16 points, 10 rebounds. He shot 33% from 3, so not a bad performance here for Anthony Davis. It's just like Troy Brown Jr., come on, man. 2 points in 27 minutes, only made 1 shot, not a single three-pointer made. It's just guys like Troy Brown Jr. kind of need to step it up for the Lakers. So there's that. Looking at the Celtics, this was a really good game for the Celtics. I mean, 30 points, 11 rebounds for Jason Tatum, 30% from 3. You can say the refs were on their side. We had a 30-point score, a 37-point score, and a 26-point score. So I feel like we probably deserved to win that game. Now, obviously, I don't know. I mean, the Lakers did get screwed. It was definitely a foul. Okay, I'm gonna come out here and admit that was a foul. But yeah, Tatum, good performance. You got 37 points out of Jaylen Brown, 26 off the bench for Malcolm Brogdon, one of the best 6-man in the NBA. But I say we can just move on from there. Nuggets and Sixers, another great game. This game was awesome. I was watching it throughout the afternoon. It was the first game to come on today, and Joel Embiid played absolutely fantastic. He was putting on a clinic. It was so fun to watch him play. Joel Embiid scores 47. 76ers beat Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets. They win by 7. Battle of MVP candidates, great scoring, amazing rebounding. This guy is just unreal. Taking, the All-Star starting snub very personally, and I love it. I love what Embiid's doing right now. Hopefully he can keep it up. 7 straight games for the 76ers won as well under their belt, and obviously playing Nikola Jokic this is a top 2, top 3 team in the NBA. This is always a daunting task, but the Sixers are climbing up there. They're definitely top 10. They might even be like top 6 or borderline top 5. But, man, it's mainly because of Embiid. Embiid played so damn well. The Nuggets, there were just a guy sprinkled in there, 20 points for MPJ. Great three-point shooter MPJ is. I feel like he kind of goes underappreciated around the NBA. He's a very good three-point shooter. 24 points for Jokic. Kind of a slight night. I mean, he didn't miss a single three-pointer. He shot 67% from the field. It is a slight night for him. I don't think he played bad at all. It's just Embiid obviously outplayed him. You get 22 points out of Jamal Murray. you know, KCP, Jeff Green, Zeke Naji, Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown's coming off the bench. I mean, I guess MPJ came back, but it's just guys like that. Just guys kind of sprinkled in there. If one of those guys would have had a better game. Looking at the Sixers, though, 47 points, 18 rebounds for Joel Embiid. He played fantastic, and James Harden put up 17 points, 13 assists of his own with 50% overall shooting. James Harden's a really good sidekick. He's definitely not the better player. I think it's fair to say he's a sidekick. He's the perfect sidekick for Embiid, and it's been working all year. I'm excited to see as a Celtics fan, obviously I'm obliged to not like this team, but I'm excited to see what they can do if they can make a run this year. But looking at the Knicks and Nets, the playoffs are going to be so fun. Knicks and Nets, Kyrie Irving has 32 points. The Knicks beat the Knicks for their 9th straight time. The Nets have been on the dominant end of this rivalry for years now. Kyrie Irving grew up in New York and New Jersey, so he knows better than most whether the Knicks against the Nets is a real rivalry. He grew up around that stuff, so interesting story. You saw them with Coach K after the game, the Duke players, RJ and Seth Curry. That was a cool little moment. The Knicks played pretty damn solid. 19 points, 10 rebounds for Julius Randle, 26 points for Jalen Brunson, 24 points for RJ Barrett off his 60% three-point shooting. And, shout out to Jericho Sims. He's able to rebound the ball hella well, and he's efficient. It's just they didn't give him enough opportunities. It's just guys like Obi Toppin, Miles McBride. It's just guys off the bench. And Jericho Sims isn't a bad replacement for Mitchell Robinson, which I don't know what's going on with Mitchell Robinson, but he's a viable. Sorry, smell my armpits real quick. He's a viable starting center. It's just he needed to score the ball a little more tonight. Looking at the Nets, though, 13 points, 12 rebounds for Nick Claxton. What a run this man has been on. Didn't miss a single shot this game. So efficient. The rim protecting. He's a premier rim protector in the NBA. And at his age, it's awesome. It's honestly really good. 3 fucking blocks. I think he's damn near averaging 2 blocks a game. He's in contention for being Defensive Player of the Year. He might not be super high up on that list, but yeah. 32 points for Kyrie, of course. Kyrie just put on a clinic. Rockets, Pistons. Don't really care about this game. 2 really bad teams. Rockets beat the Pistons by 3 in the matchup with the NBA's worst teams. The tank battle. It's the Tank Bowl. Kenyon Martin had a 4-point possession with 31 seconds left. He was able to get the Houston Rockets to the promised land with that one. It's the worst teams. I don't think anyone watched this game. I know I didn't, but the Rockets, 15 points, 13 rebounds for Kenyon Martin, 16 points, 10 rebounds for Terry Eason, 33% three-point shooting, 24 points for Eric Gordon. Got to give him credit. This late in his career, and he's out here playing like that. That's pretty cool. Looking at the Pistons, 21 points for Alec Burks, 50% shooting. It's just Jalen Duren, Isaiah Livers, Kevin Knox, Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes, and I like that the Pistons finally made the decision to start Jalen Duren, a much more athletic, much more lengthy player than Isaiah Stewart. I can definitely respect Isaiah Stewart as a basketball player, but it was clear-cut that Jalen Duren should be the starting center, so I'm glad they made that adjustment. But let's just move on. Bulls Magic. Bulls win a fucking game. Thank goodness. DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine lead the Bulls to a 19-point win over the Magic. This is how the Bulls should have been playing all season. Great scoring from DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and Nikola Vucevic. Vucevic even added some rebounding in there. Their big three putting up 26+. It's not going to happen often this year, but when it does, they're going to win the game. There's no doubt about it. They turned back a late rally, and they won by 19, so it wasn't really a contest. Shout out to the Magic, though. They realized they shouldn't be tanking, I guess. Why is there a water bottle on the floor? I'm not sure about that. But looking at the Bulls, 32 points for DeMar DeRozan. Didn't miss a single three-pointer. 26 points, 13 rebounds for Vucevic, 40% three-point shooter. 32 points for Zach LaVine. This was just an unstoppable team. Looking at the Magic, 27 points for Mo Wagner. The man went off. He shot 75% from 3. 21 points for Cole Anthony, shooting 60% overall. Great bench performances, but the starters, it's like, where do I begin? Like Franz Wagner, Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris off the bench, Jonathan Isaac, Admiral Schofield, Bull. All these guys need to play better for this team. Juke just went live. Shout out to Juke, Los Pollos' brother. I might watch that after this. I'm not sure. But, yeah, I don't really have much to say about this game. Moving on to the Clippers and Hawks. I didn't watch this game, although I probably should have. I'm assuming it was a pretty good game, but Kawhi Leonard scores 32. The Clippers beat the Hawks for their 5th straight win. The Clippers are on the come up. Don't be surprised when they start climbing up the NBA power rankings. Kawhi and Paul George are in prime position. Great scoring for Kawhi. His best three-point shooting night of the season. Paul George put some great scoring up as well. They were able to win by 7, and they are on fire. And they were able to beat Atlanta. Well, I would say was a pretty good team coming into this one. But yeah, 32 points for Kawhi Leonard, 50% three-point shooting, 60% from the field. He played great. 23 points for Paul George off of 33% three-point shooting. You get the Hawks, you get 12 points, 13 rebounds for Clint Capella off of 60% shooting. You get 31 points and 10 assists for Trae Young. Jalen Johnson, a guy off the bench that doesn't get that many minutes, that maybe if they took a little bit more advantage of, I don't know. It's just like small pieces for them. But, yeah, nothing much to say about that. I watched a little bit of this next game, Kings-Timberwolves. This is actually a pretty good matchup here. There were some good matchups today. Anthony Edwards scores 34. The Timberwolves beat the Kings by 7. Very pivotal third quarter. Anthony Davis was we already talked about Anthony Davis. Anthony Edwards was the forefront. Great scoring for D'Angelo Russell as well. And yeah, they were able to win. The Timberwolves are kind of turning their season around. Hopefully Karl Anthony Towns is going to be back soon. Is he out for the rest of the year? I didn't really get the details on that, but hopefully he'll be back soon. He'll get back for perfect timing. Domantas Sabonis, 23 points, 10 rebounds. One of the guys I thought was snubbed as a starter. I think he should start over Zion. I think either him or AD should have started over Zion, but we're not talking about that right now. Okay, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about that. But 29 points for De'Aaron Fox. The two main stars did their jobs. I mean, it's like Keegan Murray, Trey Lyles, Chimezie Metu, KZ Okpala, Rashawn Holmes, Davion Mitchell. It's just a majority of their bench that needs to put in a little more work for this team. So, yeah, Timberwolves, 13 points, 14 rebounds for Rudy Gobert, doing his job as a big man, playing a big role, 60% from the field. I'm sure he had a block or two in there. Is there a streak for Rudy Gobert, like going a game without getting a block? I feel like he gets a block every game. He has to, right? I don't know. 25 points for D'Lo. You get 34 points, 10 rebounds for Anthony Edwards, 67% overall shooting. So yeah, Anthony Edwards, he is really like locked into this star role, and I love it. So let's talk about the Wizards Pelicans. Kyle Kuzma's feeling confident. He took to social media to post about their win streak. So that's cool. I feel like he shouldn't be in a position to really talk that much shit because the Wizards aren't a good team still, but they beat a good team. Daniel Gafford, double. He leads the Wizards past the Pelicans. He wins by 10. His best scoring night of the season. Great rebounding. 5 blocks. Yeah. Daniel Gafford was an absolute stud today. The New Orleans Pelicans, they're still a good team, but they're kind of falling down a little bit. They're in that position where, like, the Suns are, where they don't have their starters, like all their starters, and they're having to rely on guys that hardly get major minutes. So, 5th straight win. That's what Kuzma was posting about for the Wizards. Not that Kuzma did anything to help them win the game. It was a one-man show. It was the 21-point, 12-rebound performance for Daniel Gafford. One of the best games probably in his career that got them the win. Shout out to him. That was a great game. But the Pelicans, 22 points for Brandon Ingram. It's really nice to see him back. 24 points for CJ McCollum, 33% three-point shooter. Jonas Valanciunas appeared to get hurt in this one. Either that or he just rested. I don't know what the hell happened, but Jonas Valanciunas not playing hardly at all definitely slowed them down a little bit. It was probably would have been a winnable game had they have had Valanciunas. But Suns Spurs, I don't know how this game went to overtime. Okay. The Suns are on the come up. They definitely are. They're a good team now. They've regained that merit. Chris Paul and Mikal Bridges helped the Suns escape the Spurs in overtime. They won by what the fuck? They won by 10 or won by 5? I don't even know. This is confusing. But great scoring for both Chris Paul and Mikal Bridges. They won by 10. Okay. overtime win. It's not really a good look to go to overtime against a team like that, but obviously no Devin Booker, and we know that makes the difference. But great game for the Suns. 25 points for Mikal Bridges, 23 for DeAndre Ayton. They failed to talk about him. I mean, 55% shooting. You get 31 points and 11 assists for Chris Paul. Great game, 60% overall shooting. You look at the Spurs. There were some really good performances out of the Spurs, actually. Jeremy Sohan, I think that's a career high. I think 30 is a career high. Great game for Sohan. Sohan actually has a lot of... I mean, he's a fan favorite for me, and he has a lot of potential in the league. 50% from 3, though. 34 points for Keldon Johnson. I know Keldon Johnson can be a good player. I mean, he shot 33% from 3. Tyus Jones or Trey Jones or whichever one. I mean, guys like him, Zach Collins. I really appreciate Stanley Johnson, the Stanimal, they used to call him, his effort on the boards off the bench. But him and like Malachi Branham and, you know, guys like that didn't quite step in their role as well as this person needed to win this game. Because, man, the Suns played good. They're looking good without Devin Booker. But when Devin Booker gets back, they're going to look better. But, Jazz, Mavs, actually a solid matchup here. I mean, the Jazz are decent, and the Mavs are good. So, yeah. Jazz hold off a late rally. They beat the Luka Doncic-less Mavs by 8. Great scoring for Lauri Markkanen. You know, Malik Beasley put in some solid effort, and they took advantage of, obviously, Luka being out, as many teams have done around the league, and they were able to win. But, I mean, the potential this team has in the playoffs when Luka gets back, and, you know, looking at what Spencer Dinwiddie has been able to do for this team without Luka in the last couple of games. I mean, 35 points for this dude. That's really the only positives, though. I mean, Dwight Powell, Theo Pinson, AJ Lawson, just guys like that. They didn't really get that many minutes, and this team needed help from guys like that. So, I don't know. Not a great game for Dwight Powell, though. Not good at all. The Jazz, you get a 29-point performance for Lauri Markkanen off of 50% three-point shooting, 55% from the field, 14 points, 11 rebounds for Walker Kessler. Very underappreciated player in their franchise. And yeah, that's going to do it. Let's talk about the final game, the Raptors and the Trailblazers. I didn't watch this game because I was streaming. I kind of wanted to just watch the Celtics game and be like, okay, I'm done with basketball for the night. But, geez, pray for Dame, man. I mean, these two teams are somewhat in the same position, Raptors, Blazers, but Precious Achiuwa, dude, he went off. He leads the Raptors to an 18-point win over the Blazers. Great scoring, great rebounding. Obviously, OG Anunoby got injured, and what the hell? I mean, this is a blessing in disguise for the Raptors because Precious Achiuwa is putting up some good minutes, and I've talked about him on this channel a couple of times. So, wow, great game for Precious Achiuwa. He played amazing. I'm really happy for the dude. That's going to give him a lot of rep in that franchise. So, but Pascal Siakam helped as well. I mean, 24 points off of 50% three-point shooting. Jeez, dude, I can't believe this. Precious Achiuwa put up 27 points, 13 rebounds, 50% three-point shooter. A good game from Scotty Barnes as well, 18 points and 10 rebounds. Looking at the Blazers, I mean, I don't know what the hell Dame's going to do at this point. I'm not sure where they are in the standings. I might have to check that out after this. But, I mean, 26 points for Jeremy Grant. At least he has Jeremy Grant. 30 points for Damian Lillard, sorry. He shot 50% overall. He played good. It's just like they have Drew Eubanks, Jabari Walker, Gary Payton, Keon Johnson, Shaden Sharp. It's just all these guys off the bench that haven't really established a nice role off that bench yet. But we can end the video in a little bit. But looking at the standings here, let me see how Dame's doing. Let me see how they're doing. They're not in the plan. They're out of the plan by 1.5 games. That's not good at all. Damian Lillard not even making the play-in? Wow, the Thunder are only half a game out. Lakers are 2 games out of the plan. I mean, at least the Trailblazers aren't the Lakers. Lakers are a bottom 3 team in the West. I just want you guys to think about that. But yeah, the Clippers should probably get in the top 3 sooner than later in the West. And all that matters. The higher seed you are, the better. Celtics are playing great, and they have a 71% win percentage. That's like 3% better than any other team in the league.